everyone, welcome back to Let's Spaghetti Talk About It. This is episode 3. I am your host, Revan Joycey. Tom is here too.
Hello!
And as we promised last week, a very special guest joins us today. The former CEO of Tito Industries, Morgan Brown.
Hello, it's me, here to spread knowledge. Hi! I'm in front of a live studio audience. Direct live studio here.
This is actually not the guest we promised last week, but I can tell you this is maybe even more exciting than that. But we're on episode 5 now, right, I think?
Yeah, we're up to episode 5 of the iCarly reboot revival. So we'll be talking about episode 4 and 5 this week. Maybe a bit of a recap of the first 3 episodes too, to get some of Morgan, aka Wamba, aka Tito's expertise, knowledge, insight into those episodes as well. But yes, we got a lot to talk about, I think.
I'm a man of many names.
Tito, do you want to share with share your thoughts?
Oh, where to begin? Where to begin on such a historic piece of cinema?
It's definitely cinema.
My first thought kind of carries through the whole thing, and it's that the episode names suck ass.
Oh, well,
I hate the episode names.
We love a good pun.
I really wanted them to have like new adult themes in them. You know what I mean? Like, what was the one? The episode 4 was that I got your back, but I wanted it to be called I Can't Get an Erection.
Yeah, I honestly could see Freddy as being someone, not to shame, not to cock shame, but I could see him having trouble getting it up.
I think it'll give him some depth.
Yeah, certainly.
Who do you think is the most well-rounded character in this show right now?
It's got to be Spencer. Spencer's the best character by far.
Yeah.
He carries the show on his hair.
Well, yeah, we always go on about Benson moments.
Moments!
Yeah, I think we should maybe rebrand to Spencer moments. I mean, at least for this episode, because Spencer just gets a lot of play, I think, and he gets a lot of opportunities to flex his stuff. Whereas Freddy, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Although I did have a pretty big Benson moment written down to discuss. So we'll go with a Spencer moment too. But just there's something about the Benson. I don't know. It just feels right. So Morgan, I think we did watch the first 2, didn't we, the other day together?
We did. You brought me back into the world of iCarly.
I think that was my 3rd time watching those 2. Oh, it's horrible. No, it was great. I loved it.
It was great. And even though I'm more of a Victorious man myself, it definitely brought back some good memories.
That's respectable, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to quickly talk about, because before we get too deep into the show, we have a little segment that we like to call Into the Schneiderverse. I do want to pick your brain about, this love of Victorious that you perhaps have. What was your kind of relationship with that show, and how does that compare to coming back to this iCarly reboot now?
Well, you see, when I was young, a young 15-year-old boy, I just really liked Victorious for the plot. He had a great plot, great characters, and that's it. That's the only reason. And yeah, I thought Robbie was really cool.
Is he the guy with the puppet?
Yeah, he's the puppet guy. There's actually a Twitter account. I don't know. I don't think I've told you guys about this. There's a Twitter account which is called Tory Vega Official, I think it's called. And it's just a meme account, but it just it's just trying to be Tory, but it just continuously talks shit about Robbie. Tells him to go die, and it cuts him out of photos and stuff. It's hilarious. But yeah, and obviously Victorious and iCarly will forever be linked through the crossover and the Sam and Cat series, so
yeah, we got into the whole lore of the world, and it definitely is this cohesive, universe, perhaps even multiverse with various actors playing different roles. This to me though, this feels that the reboot. I'm almost choosing to believe this is a whole parallel world. I don't even feel comfortable, saying that this is part of the multiverse that we all know and love.
Well, a lot of people, discount anything that George Lucas didn't touch from the Star Wars, universe as not canon. Maybe we can extend the same thing for this if it continues down this path, because obviously Dan Schneider is not as involved in this series as he was previously. So, is this really canon? I don't really know yet.
Personally, I don't want Dan anywhere near the series.
Oh, okay.
I think we've moved on.
He's
from
gone
Dan.
there.
I think we've moved on from him. I think it's Phil's time to shine. I think he's taking us in a new direction, a sexier direction.
Okay, I can see that. But, I mean, what about the possibility of Dan kind of doing a George Lucas and creating a kind of Clone Wars adjacent series, an animated sequel or sort of interquel that takes place in the gap between the original and the revival series? I think like there are so many questions, much like we had during the Clone Wars era, that we need answered. I mean, you could have a whole new character similar to Ahsoka that actually, I just think Dan, he's capable and he should do something like that.
Do you think maybe it should be like a really serious war documentary about Carly's dad in the Air Force? It's like a Pearl Harbor kind of thing, Midway kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just about his life, and then Carly just like appears at the end.
To be honest, this interim period that they've been painting through very subtle hints, it does sound juicier than what we're getting at the moment. I mean, we'd be dealing with the double whammy of two Benson marriages. I mean, what happened there? Carly in Italy, Sam with the biker gang. And I just think, putting that through the Clone Wars animation style, I think that's what could really sell this new iCarly.
What is the time, difference between the last episode of iCarly and the first episode of the revival? Does anyone know?
I think they said 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And one of Freddy's marriages only lasted 14 months.
It has to.
That's what they said. They said that.
Oh, they did?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they said it in episode 4 or 5.
This man's been paying attention.
The wedding one.
That's why you heard.
Yeah, his stepdaughter went. I think it was the one with his stepdaughter. I think it was only 14 months they were together.
Oh my god, that's
Bloody
even
hell.
dumber. That's even stupider.
Clearly, Freddy's just not a good. He just doesn't know how to pick him. He's just not.
I think I know the moment you're talking about, Morgan, and I was going to talk about this during our episode 4 recap, but I kind of want to get into it now. He says to Millicent that she's possibly ruining his chances of getting with her new stepmother, and I just had to sit with that for a minute, because this is a man who bears no blood relation to this girl, has no contact with her actual mother, and is now, threatening to bring in a new I mean, is that even possible, where a stepfather... I know, he's actually her adopted father at this point, but they still call him her stepdad. And I just... Is there anyone out there who has a stepfather and a stepmother and they're married?
I feel like there's something dark happening in the background there. Surely... I mean, is he divorced, or are they just separated, perhaps?
No, they're divorced, apparently. I'm pretty sure they said that early on.
I've got some serious questions about that girl's mother then, because if they've only been together 14 months and they've been divorced, and then she's let her child go live with this man, but that raises some questions.
He talks about her as if it's a joint custody situation, but then she's spending all her fucking time in this apartment building.
I haven't seen her go to school yet.
I think what we need is a marriage story type of prequel series, like you say, with this Clone Wars type of idea. We just need to know what happened concretely, to paint a real picture and figure out who's in the wrong, how is the situation, how does it work? Because right now we're just asking so many questions. There's a lot of questionable things arising. I'm just confused.
Tom, I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
I think a shot-for-shot remake of Marriage Story, Freddie Benson being Adam Driver's role, I think would be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I think if they're going to open up this universe, the Schneiderverse, and kind of make it an MCU type thing, maybe the Clone Wars spin-off is actually more about the Shea men, the Spencers, the Mr. Shea, and their experiences with war. And then you have the Freddie Benson solo movie, which is, like a Marriage Story remake. I mean, I could see him being the kind of much respected leader of a theatre troupe. Actually, no, I couldn't, because I couldn't... I mean, has anyone ever respected Freddie? Whereas you've got Adam in that film, everyone adores him, including...
True.
I think Scarlett still does, right? That's kind of the point of the movie. She still adores him, but they couldn't make it work. But could anyone feel like that about Freddie Benson?
I certainly could.
I know, yeah, I mean, and I do too,
Wow.
but that's the audience, I guess.
It's true. With the outside looking in.
Yeah, they just can't. They don't know what they have in front of them with Freddy. They've got no fucking idea. He is a saint. He is a treasure. But yeah,
I think we can all agree that Carly is the weakest character in the series. Though.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah. Oh my god.
Is it just me, or is like in between iCarly and iCarly the Revival, has she lost about 50 IQ points?
Yeah, it's a very interesting characterization, especially for your lead.
We'll get it more into it when we talk about the episodes properly, but one of my big things was that her arc this season just seems to be about, like, dating other people. Like, that's the whole arc. Like, there's just nothing else. Like, that's the most, I just feel like it's such a disservice to, like, that character, and, like, there's so much more interesting things that you could do. Her having to, like, struggle with, like, returning to fame or something just, like, a bit more, like, actually related to the show itself, because if you really think about it, how many times has she actually done the iCarly show in universe, this reboot?
Like, twice.
Like, barely any.
Was it? Yeah, it was just the once in the first episode, wasn't it, or something? Or the second?
I think just the baby... I think there's the baby Spencer bit. I think there's one more, maybe.
Yeah, with the guy who turned out to be the hater, right? That was 2 separate shows.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
So since then they've just dropped it. Like, so what is the show?
But she's still doing, like, famous people stuff. That's the bit that gets me. Like, the last episode, she went to that like red carpet, and I'm just thinking, she's obviously famous, and if we're gonna go off the numbers that she got when she streamed that iCarly episode from Freddy's phone, if the view count was accurate,
she's
probably making
climbing.
Bank, but she still lives in her friend's apartment who works at a coffee shop.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because to have sustained that following throughout these years when she wasn't even streaming or making content, yet she's still got, like, that audience waiting for her, and then she's still walking red carpets. Yeah, why is she, like, sharing this apartment? It just doesn't make any sense. And you make a good point there, Tom, because I think you've pinpointed the reason that this feels a bit empty, and I think part of the fun of the original was actually seeing them do the show. That always kind of was related to the plot. You know, you always had some, like, crazy guest star appearing on the show, but I feel like that was kind of the heart of it. And yeah, we're not seeing any of that. We're just, like, so many scenes in these, like, really mundane, really boring looking restaurants. I mean, what's that about? Like, Carly Shay has, like, the taste of a 60-year-old, like, retiree in terms of, like, restaurants. I just don't get it.
It's suffering from them not being able to go to the school. Like, the school in that original show is such, like, a place where all these colourful characters would come out, you know what I mean? Yeah. That by the locker that
one
I'm pretty sure redressed in every single Nickelodeon show ever made. They probably still use that set. It still probably gets more footfall than, like, most high street shops these days.
Well, I think, like, I'm a huge I'm like, one of my favorite parts of, like, films and stuff is when a film has a really, like, strong sense of space, and you actually feel like it's a breathable, livable world. And you know what, maybe that's asking a bit too much of a Nickelodeon sitcom, I don't know, but like you say, the original, you had the school, you had, like, the smoothie shop, you had the apartment, you had the attic, you had I swear they went to Freddy's apartment sometimes as well.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Whereas this one,
and the lobby of the building as well.
Yeah, the lobby. Yeah, loads of stuff happened there. Whereas, like, Carly's fucking apartment is dead. Do you know what I mean? It's got fucking nothing about it, and like, just true. All this. I just know. Oh yeah, the restaurants, they really get to me. I don't know about you guys, but there's, like, dimly lit restaurants.
You have a horrible fear of these restaurants, don't you?
They're just so. There's just, like, no personality. Like the guy said, there's no pictures on the menu either.
Yeah. How do you know what you're getting?
Classic!
So we're talking a lot about the show. Should we just dive into the 4th episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
Take me in, Tom.
Take me.
Yeah, so this episode is episode 4, I Got Your Back, as Morgan critiqued earlier.
I think we should refer to it as I Can't Get an Erection.
Yeah, okay. I can't get an erection.
I can't
Don't
get
use that
up.
soundbite out of... Please don't use these soundbites out of context. So yeah, Carly has to go to a red carpet event, and she doesn't have a ex-boyfriend Bo to go along with her. So Harper swoops in, decides to be her stylist for the evening, and you see a cavalcade of different outfit choices, and there's a whole, there's a whole thing, and there's a bit of conflict towards that. But on the other side of that, and the B story is Spencer trying to find a new love for Freddy, because he's kind of he's out of the game. He needs a bit of help. So he sets Freddy up with a sex worker, and chaos ensues.
Classy.
As you would expect. So yeah, guys, what did you think of this episode? Morgan, should we start with you?
Sure. I think what really shocked me was the whole sex worker angle.
Yep.
I was like, I know the show talks about sex. I think doesn't Spencer drink a beer in this one as well? He drinks like a hot beer.
Yeah.
So right out the gate, this is not a show for children. This is young adult fiction. This is, the sexiest you can get.
This ain't your mama's iCarly.
This ain't the iCarly you remember. We've got prozzies and beer.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I found the whole thing very weird. I feel like Freddy interacting with a sex worker was kind of the content I needed, but also I feel like the child inside me screamed when he came over and was just like, the whole nuclear physicist angle she was going for, and Spencer was just paying her behind the scenes. It was quite, I imagine, and he doesn't even get does he find out she's a sex worker at the end? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think he
leave
does.
it dangling. They do that classic sitcom thing where the B plot never really gets resolved.
And I think that's quite a weakness, because having gone on these dates with this woman probably raised his self-esteem. So to find out that she was being paid the whole time, I imagine might be quite crushing for him. And I kind of wanted to see that. I wanted to see him crushed.
There should have been a post-credit scene of him just fucking
weeping.
Depressed.
Weeping.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of what I was thinking, because I think on paper that storyline is quite funny, but they never take it far enough. They introduce this very adult story, but they just don't ever fully capitalize off it. Because I actually thought that sequence with the montage of Freddy having a whale of a time, and then him bleeding Spencer dry, I thought that was quite funny. But then again, you could raise the point of, well, literally Spencer could just cancel the payments, and then the prostitute would just ghost Freddy, which is what you'd expect to happen anyway. But yet Spencer's beholden to Freddy going on these dates at fish markets and whatever. I mean, just
and the same restaurants.
The same restaurants, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I could rewrite this episode, I would have it so Freddy finds out way earlier that she is a prostitute or a sex worker, and then he gets involved in the industry with his, and that's where the old camera comes out. He starts filming adult videos, and then he just gains this new lease on life. I think that would have been it.
He starts an OnlyFans.
Exactly. He's just like an OnlyFans photographer now. I think that could be a good dynamic for Freddy, because he's going to try and shield his stepdaughter from all this illicit activities he's up to. I think it could be there's some gags in there.
I could see.
That's honestly genius.
Yeah,
I thought. Yeah,
I could see Freddy playing the cuck in cuckold pornography. I really could.
But he loves it.
He loves it. But he
loves his little roles.
That's the thing. Yeah, it could have opened up so many avenues, and I could have also seen it escalating to Spencer having to contend with pimps and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it just kind of it gets to it hits a peak, and then it just flatlines and it plateaus for the rest of the episode. It doesn't build off of what it establishes at all. It just does the joke and then sticks at that level and doesn't really do anything else. And it's just ends up being very dissatisfying, and just doesn't go anywhere.
It's a shame, because there's some great lines. I always think when I'm watching the show, there's always these down moments, but then there's always one line that I find really funny.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And I think it's weirdly to say, I think this show has a lot of potential. I think it could be way funnier. I think they just need to go that step further into leaving kind of keeping the kind of themes of the old iCarly, but really kind of pushing it more adult, because this kind of weird in between means that you get parts where Freddy is dating a sex worker, and then you have parts where like they're just doing the old iCarly shit of like Spencer dressed as a baby getting slathered in cream or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Have you seen the behind the scenes of that scene?
No.
Jerry Trainor's just like, get me the fuck out of here. It's way funnier.
What did he actually say that?
Yeah, there's a clip going around.
Oh wow.
Tom, bring the clip up.
I'll play it.
Get me the out of here.
But kind of what we were saying about Carly earlier, about how her like whole thing is just to date boys, because like there's a bit where Harper says, oh, he's like just your type, and I'm just thinking like, well, what is her type? Like literally just any man, like it doesn't matter. And I know they specify, oh, it's like dumb hot guys, but like, I mean, it could be anyone. She sees a man, she goes crazy. But I also think like that characterization is quite reductive, and for all the kind of, I feel like this show, it's trying to get like points for referencing quite like socially progressive concepts, but then they just they do the complete opposite of it anyway, because like, you know, they'll say like they'll talk about feminism, but then like Carly is like just the worst example of I don't know, it's very confused, I think, and it's like they're kind of they're using very politically correct terminology about sex workers. You know, they're not trying to like poke fun at it directly, but at the same time, the joke is literally, "Oh, Freddy's going out with a prosy, what a loser." So it's like, oh, so
yeah,
you know, you go like, oh, they're sex workers, and this is a legitimate profession, and she's a legitimate woman, but then the joke is still on them.
Yeah. She still does hide the fact that she's a sex worker, though. She does say she's a nuclear physicist or something, doesn't she? Which, problematic, anyone?
Oh my god. This is so problematic.
I think, in terms of, like, the characterization of Carly, I think you gotta look at it in the way that I think it's suffering because Harper isn't Sam. You know what I mean?
For sure.
She's not as like not controversial, but you know, like the whole idea of Freddy and Sam in the original shows, like they were kind of polar opposites, so they would like pull Carly either way, and like I think a lot of the show was good when Freddy and Sam were like interacting in the original show. So, but Harper and Freddy are just kind of the same character, although Harper is confident and Freddy is not.
The way that the character dynamics are now, there's not enough room to create like conflict that isn't like contrived or like not meaningful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we'll get into it with episode 5. There's like a conflict in that which just feels really contrived and just like not pleasant to watch at all, is not satisfying at all. And we'll get to that. But yeah, the characters are just so like, there isn't enough differences between them, like you said, Morgan, for there to create meaningful conflict that can be resolved in a satisfying way by the end of it.
And here's the thing, though, like you could say that Sam and Freddy, there was this tension there, this hostility, because Sam was a pretty intense person. But like there was secretly actually this warmth between Sam and Freddy, and obviously like that was expanded upon in later seasons. Whereas even though Harper and Freddy and Harper and Spencer don't have, well, actually no, Harper and Spencer do have quite a confrontational storyline in episode 5. Even though it's not as openly hostile, I don't feel like there's any warmth between Harper and Freddy and Spencer. Like I feel like, okay, maybe she works with Carly because they keep telling us that they're best friends, or that really annoying acronym that they just kept ramming down our throats. But I just don't feel like that character actually gels with the others.
Yeah, she is a bit out of place in terms of like, she doesn't really fit into the established group. Like she's like a fashion designer. But I feel like they needed to either use her more or give her a different job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because, like, Carly isn't... Apart from in the red carpet episode, she doesn't like need costumes. Like if she was doing like more costume stuff on iCarly, then you can like understand why Harper would be there more. But like her whole character is that she's a fashion designer. We've seen her make like one thing for Carly, and then she just works at a coffee shop twice.
Yeah, this is the problem. They're not using their concept far enough. Like the fact that they have this web show and they don't use it at all, and like you said, like taking advantage of the fact that Harper is a fashion designer, and they could be, because they can do these like zany and weird costumes on the show. In theory, like you could make something out of that, but they just haven't taken advantage of it at all. And it's just like I guess it's just like a character trait that she has and can like whip out whenever they need to for episode 4 essentially. Yeah, they're just not taking anything far enough, I guess, is the thing.
100%. It's playing it safe while also trying to push the boat ahead. Like they've obviously brought in more adult themes and like the sex and the alcohol, and they talk about like, I mean, they haven't said anything too explicit really. I don't think. No one's gone like no one's been like, you know, oh Freddy eat my ass, you know, or something like that, you know, which I think would be hilarious.
Yeah, you can tell Spencer would definitely engage in that kind of vocabulary.
Yeah, I think this show would benefit a lot from swearing more as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
but we can't swear when Millicent's round. Oh no.
Oh, fuck off. I think it'd be funny if Millicent just like had this whole episode where she just kept calling Freddy a cunt or a bastard or something. and you might have to bleep that. But like
No, we're keeping it in.
Yeah, actually do keep it in, because otherwise people are going to think I said some sort of slur or something.
Yeah, she just keeps calling him a cracker.
Yeah, I mean, like, but you know what I mean? I think it needs to be more. I feel like if they wanted to really come out, considering the people who are watching the show are us, you know, like our age, like in their 20s now. Well, you know, we want something a bit, you know, bit edgier.
Well, I think I said this like in episode 2, but that's the thing. I mean, they're kind of treating their audience like a bunch of fucking idiots, you know what I mean? And like there's not actually the maturity in the storylines and the plots. They need to be more complex and multifaceted. But you know, it's like this episode felt really jarring to me. You know, even in context of like the preceding 3 episodes, like it just felt even like it had escalated by having a sex worker just from the previous 3, but yet it still didn't really explore it. And I was thinking like, okay, if this was episode 1, it would have been like a punch to the gut. You would have been like, oh my god, like yeah, this really has ramped up. But then maybe like if they'd just gone straight out the gate with something like that, but I just felt I'm just still utterly baffled by what this is.
It's been underwhelming. It's definitely been underwhelming. I have, when we talk about episode 5, I did actually quite enjoy episode 5. I thought it was the best one so far. Controversial maybe, I don't know what you guys' opinions on when we get onto it.
I have to say, I don't know if it was the best. I think episode 3 is probably still the best one for me in terms of like having something to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just things happening. But I will agree, I didn't hate this as much. Like, I was watching, I was like, I don't hate this, and this is a weird feeling to have. So, yeah, I think I enjoyed it a lot more than some of the other ones, for sure. Yeah. Revan, thoughts?
I don't know. I agree about episode 3 still being the best, but I honestly found, like, quite a few things that I just really didn't enjoy about this episode.
Okay. Well, should we just get straight into it?
Yeah. Should we go straight into episode 5? We all seem to be bursting at the seams to talk about iRobot Wedding.
There's so much to say.
Oh wait, sorry. There was one other thing. I think in episode 4, Freddy like says to Millicent that he really enjoys the fact that she can just go and bug the shit out of Carly because he likes the fact that she has these really positive female role models at her disposal, just to disguise the fact that like he cannot be fucking arsed to take care of her.
Plus, Carly is a terrible role model.
Yeah, and
she's awful.
But, like, also, wouldn't they be super irritated by having this, like, 12-year-old constantly loitering around them at all time?
Yeah, like I said, is it like the summer or something? Like, why has she never been to school?
No, I don't know.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
There is something dark happening there, and I'd like them to explore it.
It's all done on phones. She's just studying on a phone.
I just want Freddy to just snap and just like scream at her in one episode.
Oh God.
Just like it just like loses it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause
also, like, Millicent, she's just kind of there to, like, every 5 seconds spout some, like, internet buzzword, like, okay, boomer, or, like, spill the tea,
Yeah.
or, like, epic fight, like, oh my god.
Yeah, it still has the feeling of it's written by people who have no idea what modern web shows are like. Because in the late to early 2010s, you know, like in the early 2000s, like YouTube was still like, you know, the cat video place, right? So like the idea of having like a web show was kind of like, not many people were famous for having like web shows, right? So a show about someone doing that was quite modern in a weird way.
It's a novelty, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But now, like the time she has done iCarly, they have no idea what to do with like the actual iCarly bit of iCarly.
No, because
like
she's not special anymore, but
they have
that,
no idea.
That existential crisis could have been an amazing point to actually create a show out of. Like who is this person now? Like, she's one of the first people to do it. Now everyone is. You know, when everybody's super, no one is, as our pal Syndrome said.
Yeah.
A bit of research, I think, then goes a long way, because like you could look at what like Smosh, for example, right? They were big around the same time, and you could look at like what Smosh is kind of doing now and what happened to them, and I feel like you could take a lot of inspiration from that.
I'm telling you now, in about 10 years, there's going to be this like HBO drama, and every year, every season, it's going to follow this person, like a sort of Smosh archetype, from like the age of 15 to like 25, and you're going to like see them. It'll be like a period piece of them in like the early to mid 2000s, kind of experimenting with the internet and being a YouTuber, and then like watching all the trials and tribulations, and it'll be great. And this could have been iCarly, but it
that
can't.
could have been. It could have been. Like, I feel like they could have gone way. Wouldn't Carly just have been like? Wouldn't it be super weird if she was like trying to make a comeback on the internet, but like just rather than just instantly being popular in absolutely everything she does? What if she was like struggling and like there was nobody watching?
That would be a much more compelling conflict, and like it would make the fact that she like introduces herself as iCarly from iCarly, like that would be a lot more interesting, because she would like, if she mentions that to people and like no one like really cares, and like she kind of internalizes that, that's a way more interesting character development than her just being kind of like coming back and like, hey, I'm doing the show again, and everyone else is welcoming me back to the internet, that sort of thing. When in reality, it's not really like that. It's like very rare cases where you'll have someone who just completely disappears and then they come back and it's like nothing's changed. Normally, there's at least a bit of a, you know, they have to build that audience back up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, the show paints this picture that these people have just been sat in the same chair for 10 years, like refreshing their fucking phones, like, please come back, please come back. And that's just not how it works. Like, yeah. And then also, did I have? Oh, yeah. I sort of commented on the fact that the endings to these episodes are just so abrupt. But I'll get to my thoughts on the episode 5 ending when we get to that.
Should we talk about iRobot Wedding?
Will Smith.
I think we've thematically we've exposed the show for the
for the feeble mess it is.
For the feeble mess that its plots are.
So yeah, episode 5, iRobot Wedding. This is the Neville episode.
Oh,
yeah.
They're invited to his robot-themed wedding. But Carly doesn't seem to think... She thinks something's amiss, as you would, because it's Neville Pathman after all. And she thinks that, surprisingly, the fiancé is maybe a robot? Question mark? And yeah, chaos ensues as it does. But yeah, Morgan, thoughts?
I did think this was... I think this is the best episode so far. I'm not gonna lie. Episode 3 was good. I love a good meatball, but I think I don't know. I think what really kind of entertained me this episode is just how completely inappropriate Carly acts all the time. You know what I mean? Like, she goes to this guy's wedding and she's just like, he's my nemesis, but I have to go, otherwise he wins, and I'm gonna find a way to try and just ruin it. Obviously, it works out in the end because she's the main character, so it was all a hoax. But you know what I mean? It's kind of like she goes through the whole thing with just the worst attitude. She says things that are completely inappropriate.
I swear this is like an Always Sunny plot, and like it works in that show because they'll do like anything they can to just fuck this wedding up. But like Carly does that to an extent, but
yeah, well, it's because
like,
they're
not
allowed to
far.
be reprehensible characters. Where once again, this show wants to have its cake and eat it. It wants to kind of put the characters in the situations, but then they have to be these like moral, like heroes
Paragons.
they can't step a foot wrong, and everything's said how it's supposed to be. But no, it's like fucking let them unleash. You know what I mean? Like just do it.
Yeah.
I feel like it works like then, when they're being kind of a little bit reprehensible, but in like a goofy, they're
because
good
then the
people
joke's
way.
on them, like that's what comedy is.
I just think like the bit where she throws a magnet at her head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that is, it's just kind of like, wouldn't it just be? I'd love to see them have some, like, deal with some actual repercussions for the horrible things they do to people.
Yeah, absolutely. Or at least be aware of that, because like that was one of the funniest things about Community, was that you had this group positioned as the main characters, and then as the seasons went by, you slowly realised that like all of the supporting characters in that world were very aware of the fact that they were sort of positioning themselves as these like protagonists, and how fucking annoying everyone found them, and that was hilarious because it was so self-aware. But you'd like to see a bit more self-awareness, but they won't give it to us.
Definitely. And I think one of the reasons I also super enjoyed this episode was the deep dive onto how sad Freddy's life is.
Yeah, that was funny.
That this stepdaughter that he has no obligation to look after actively tries to attempt to make sure he can't find love.
Yeah.
And I just
His
found
life's
that.
just
What is
And
her
he's just fine
deal?
with it.
Maybe she should
He's
play
just
like
fine with
Robot Uprising or whatever that game Neville's obsessed with. Millicent needs a hobby. It's something constructive.
Wasn't the last time we saw Neville, wasn't he in like
he's
prison?
in jail. Yeah, we talked about it. Was it last episode? I think
I can't remember if it was last. I think it was last episode. Yeah, we did. Like he was literally locked up like Hannibal Lecter, and now he's been put back into the populace, allowed to breed. I mean,
Allowed to seek a wife.
allowed to create Ultron.
oh, that'd be hilarious if he some AI interface.
Yeah, I think I like how they didn't really mention it at all, either. Like,
No.
oh yeah, this guy who was in a mental asylum. Oh yeah, we're going to his wedding because for some reason.
Yeah, we have to go. We go.
All of us have to go. Even Harper, who's never met him.
Yeah.
He treated us like shit, but come on. He's grown.
Why was Harper even invited?
I don't know.
Who's +1? Like, I see him inviting Carly, but was he going to invite Freddy?
Well, Freddy was
Well, he-
the best man, wasn't he?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course he was. I guess Freddy gets a +1, so he brings his stepdaughter for
His
some
daughter.
reason.
Fucking hell.
I'm just trying to work out who got an invite and who's a +1.
Yeah, maybe that'll be
Yeah.
explored further.
Those
who
are
is
the
+1.
biggest plot holes of the episode, in my opinion.
Oh well,
Definitely.
there were more than that, I think.
What are you talking about? It's
We'll get
perfect.
to that. Tom, what did you think?
Yeah, well, like, I'm definitely not as enthusiastic about it as Morgan was, but
He fucking ate that
Yeah.
shit up.
like this.
Give me more robot weddings in modern media. That's what I say.
The next episode is just called iRobot Wedding 2. Yeah, I thought this one was alright. I think it was mostly carried by the fact that I thought, at least the first bit between Harper and Spencer, I thought their dynamic was. I mean, I wrote down, okay, Harper Spencer dynamic is kind of cute. Because really Harper's not been able to do anything this whole season. And when she has, it's been very just boring because like there's nothing to work off of. But I thought their little interactions of them trying to one up each other was a bit. It was a bit of fun. But like we talked a bit about Millicent, but yeah, I've just written down Millicent ruins everything. Everyone clearly wants Freddy, but she just gets in the way or gets in the way of him, and he gets in the way of himself. And just like that was the conflict that I was alluding to before. It just felt so contrived, so just like. It just wasn't fun to watch. Like, it was just really annoying. Like, you just wanted to see Freddy, just have a conversation with a woman.
Yeah.
And, maybe some, like, funny moments happen from that. But no, like, she has to swoop in and be like, oh no, he's got, like, footworms and he still lives with his mom and, like, shit like that.
He'll suck your toes, all that
Yeah. It's just, like, it was just insufferable.
Well,
and
yeah.
What if Freddy just wanted to get his rocks off, surely? Like...
He really did.
He is a hopeless romantic, but the man's been through 2 divorces, and one probably quite recently.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. He's been married twice, but I'm not even convinced that either of those marriages were consummated. I'm not sure if he got anything out of that. And the guy's very uptight, okay? And I think, throw him in the Love Island villa. He'd flourish in there.
Mm.
He probably has to ask his mum first.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you throw that guy in Casa de Amor, and he's fucking like crazy. I mean, jeez.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
you're right. I'm Freddy. I'm a cameraman.
Well, this is the thing. Like, somebody needs to call Millicent out for her just disgusting behavior. And I really thought, like, the opening moments of this episode where she was in Spencer's apartment and Spencer comes down and he's like, "What the hell are you doing in here?" And I really thought he was about to flip his lid, and I was so ready for that. Instead, he's like, "Ooh, I'll be your dad if you want." Like, what the fuck? What the hell?
He's desperate for that. Did you not know that Spencer was barren?
Yeah, I'd heard the fan theories, and there are a lot of clues.
He can't have children. That's his deep secret.
Yeah, I've seen the evidence. It's pretty convincing. But no, I don't know if we'll ever get anyone actually putting her in her place. But yeah, I mean, I did think that joke was pretty funny, like where the lightning's going off, and then Spencer's like, "Oh, better go turn my machine off." I thought that got a chuckle.
Yeah.
I just can't understand with Millicent why they made her his stepdaughter and just not adopted child, unless they're going to do something with that later on.
Well,
because how on earth? I just don't like. We know Freddy's a nice guy, right? He's a nice lad.
Yeah, he's alright.
But what he's doing, not only you could call it above and beyond if you wanted. I would call it completely unnecessary. Because she already has a mother who she honestly seems to have absolutely no intention of ever seeing ever again.
No.
But at the same time hates Freddy in a weird way.
It's very... They're trying to set it up as this whole, like, she actually cares about Freddy deep down, and that they actually have this great bond. But, I mean, does anyone care anyway? Does it even make... Again, it's so contrived that he would even care about her, and really what's in it for him. I mean, he's not making any money, like he's having to live with his mother, so why is he, like, footing the cost of this little brat?
Wouldn't it just have been way funnier if Freddy just appeared, divorced, with a kid of his own?
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like having it where his kid, and he just could not control his own child, is almost funnier. Just in the way of, like, just Freddy, and he's just, like, he's moved back in with his mum, and I like the idea that his mum would just, like, completely shower this kid with affection, and he's just being, like, bullied in his own house by his mum and his kid.
That's the thing. Like, well, where is Mrs. Benson? She's not even showed up since episode 1, and that would have been a really fun dynamic. But yeah, make his kid this, like, gubby, like, wild child who's just running circles around him, and it's just so weird, and in only the way that a Benson could. But
he's just so stressed.
That would be again. It's like the more I know, like they do make him extremely pathetic, but just they always kind of go back at the last second, and just they really need to just go all in, make him the lousiest piece of shit, make him super oblivious. There would actually be some comedy to mine there.
Like a Jerry from Rick and Morty.
Oh my god, exactly like Jerry.
Yeah.
And
That would be hilarious.
But as pathetic as Jerry is, you still really like him. Like he's probably the best character in the show. And so it's not like by making Freddy super pathetic doesn't mean that people aren't going to still like him. But I mean, maybe you'll have some fans online that'll be like, oh, that's just not my Freddy. It's disgusting. They've shat all over his legacy as a character. So maybe they're just scared of the backlash. But, well, there's something that I do want to point out here, and I don't know if I'm going to get into trouble for saying this, but an actual plot point in this episode is that Harper supposedly has this tremendous gaydar that she can just scout out anyone, at the wedding. Now, here's my thing, right? Neville is quite clearly a gay man. He's extremely camp. Everything points to him being gay.
This is controversial.
And yet no one says anything about this. Now, I thought when they said that the only reason he was getting married was because he's going to inherit something from his estate. But, or maybe he's like asexual, I don't know, like, because you could kind of see that. I don't know, but yeah, are we really buying him as a straight man?
Look, man, if you sit in your corner...
Come on! I don't give a fuck.
Well, the first thing I did was I looked up the actor, and I scrolled down to personal life, and there was not a personal life section.
See, Tom thinks the same.
So I don't know. I will say when I first saw him in the episode, I instantly wrote down the note. Neville looks like Trump because he's got the big like shoulder pads. He had that
quite
energy,
dashing, might I add.
Oh yeah, he carried himself very well.
Yeah, I think so. Reed Alexander, that's the actor's name. There's no information about it, but honestly, yeah.
But I think I do find Neville very funny. I think he's probably one of the characters who had some really good lines for me, like "Let's quit this cat and mouse game and let me catch you."
Yeah, Neville's always been
a zinger,
a super memorable Moriarty like character. But the problem is Carly's no Sherlock Holmes, so you need
Carly.
That. True.
Yeah, Carly. I don't understand.
She's a Sherlock Holmes from the Will Ferrell
movie.
Oh no!
Very accurate.
Does that mean Freddy is John C. Reilly Watson?
I guess so.
I could see it. Well, yeah, and I also found it so funny that Carly immediately approves of Prunella because Prunella really over the top compliments her, and she's like, "Oh wow, she's great." It's she's so vain.
That's what I mean. She has her behavior is very reprehensible this entire episode.
Yeah,
she does not give a shit that she's at a rehearsal dinner to someone's wedding. She's just like, "I will expose you, Neville."
Yeah.
Like, you're a 30-year-old woman. Stop this.
She's 28 now. 28.
Ah, close enough. I don't know.
Down.
Maybe she's canonically 30. Who
could
knows?
Be.
They could age. Have they aged her up or they aged her down? That's what I want to know.
Because didn't they age up Raven Simone for the Raven's House show where she's got 3 kids that are all 12 and it's just not even possible?
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which time jump? Freddy had 14-year-old son.
I've already been asked this by someone, but I'm just going to put this out there right now. We will not be doing a podcast about Raven's Home because that's a Raven. Not a fan. Not a fan.
You didn't like That's So Raven?
Not particularly. I didn't hate it, but it definitely wasn't my favorite.
More of a Corey in the House man?
Corey had its moments just because of how how ridiculous the premise was, and I did see that clip of the skeleton in the White House garden. That was very amusing, but soured by the fact that Kyle Massey is a massive nonce. We're putting that out there right now. The Spaghetti Taco podcast, we do not endorse Kyle Massey at all.
No, we do not. We can
in the bin.
Get him gone.
I also want to just highlight this. There's a lot of references to gender and gender identity and things like that. Yet there's a sort of, I swear they just keep hitting the laugh track out after each reference to that. And I can't really work out why, because it's not a joke. It's just obviously they are going to at times maybe over the top lengths to be show that they are progressive and stuff like that. But I can't really... It almost makes it seem like the show's mocking it.
I think they did do that, specifically when they mentioned non-binary people. And I guess maybe the laugh was towards the way, he, like, said it. But, like, it wasn't a joke. It was just him, welcoming everyone. So it's a very strange...
Again, I can't really work out, like, what they're trying to go with there. Because, like, it's great if... Because I can't actually work this out. Like, is Harper non-binary or something?
She's bisexual.
She's bisexual, but
I'm pretty sure
and
she's
her
bisexual.
actresses too.
Right.
Yeah.
Actresses.
Yeah, and that's great, but at the same time, like, they keep sort of, they keep making references to that, and I'm not even sure, like, what the point of it is. And there was, like, another moment where, like, they kind of mentioned gluten intolerance, like, with the dinner specifications, and they kind of, they reference that, and, like, people who eat, like, halal and things like that, whatever, like, that's very normal now. But then, like, there's a moment later on where Harper just, like, dismissively says to someone, I think someone says, oh, what's wrong with her? And then she's like, oh, it's probably her being gluten intolerant. And it's like, wait, what? What's the joke?
But that's what I mean. That's the classic reboot of something from the 2000s, and it goes, rather than doing a joke, let's just reference something modern.
Yeah, exactly.
And that'll do. That'll do, because people love to hear things that they already know about.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess people can kind of either choose to believe, oh, they're mocking this, or they're being supportive of it, and it's like the show is so vague, so it gets away with it. But we're not gonna let them.
No, we're not going to
track them down.
No, we're here. And what did you mean by that laugh track, Phil?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
And you made that choice. What did you mean by that?
Because this guy went to fucking get a test about gluten intolerance on Monday, okay? I had to take time out of my day to do that, and I'm being mocked in this safe space. My
so
escape.
You took that personally?
Yeah, I did. No, I mean...
Wait, so when you come over to my house, we're going to have to buy gluten-free stuff? Cue laugh track.
Hey!
Someone put that in the edit. Every time
we'll
someone says
definitely
gluten intolerant, put in a laugh track.
I like it. Well, that's the thing as well. There was it is just it honestly does feel like they just have a monkey behind the scenes hitting a laugh track button really randomly, because it's like when Prunella says that Carly's 5'5", and then the laugh track goes wild, as if, like, I don't understand what the joke is.
That's a very normal female height
exactly.
as well.
Yeah.
It's a very normal height.
Also,
how much of this... One thing I've just remembered, right? And it's just remembered that it's one of those tropes from these kind of shows which always makes me fucking seething. I'm always seething, and it happened so much in the last two episodes, the focus of this podcast episode, is the amount of time people just enter other people's houses unannounced, and the doors are just open.
The cardinal sin.
And it is, like, imagine me, Revan, coming to your house now, doing the 40-minute drive, and then just walking in, and also walking in mid-sentence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've been having a conversation, and I walk in, and I'm just like, I can't believe I have to go to work tomorrow, and then I expect you not to just go like, knock, please, step outside, let's do this again.
I'm going to counter that, you pedantic fuck, because do you really think Paramount Plus has the time to be wasting on such trivial things like a knock on a door?
I just have them already in the house.
Yeah. Oh no, exactly. You can solve something like that so quickly.
Have them coming back from taking a shit. I don't know.
Woo!
Way more time.
You do not want to go in there.
See, Tom, it writes itself.
Exactly.
Tom writes it.
That's comedy. I'm just saying, it's comedy.
Yeah, it's comedy.
Spencer's been eating like spaghetti tacos. He's been having a couple glizzies. I mean, do not go in there, because this guy is stinky.
Speaking of cinematic choices, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's one point where Spencer dresses as like a Daft
Tom,
Punk
I fucking
ripoff.
wrote this. I know exactly what you're going to talk about.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you noticed this, Morgan, but he does this thing where he opens or closes the mask at one point, but the shot is literally out of focus.
Oh.
Like, it's so soft.
It's like...
I couldn't believe it. Like, I couldn't believe they let this fucking slide. Like, it's crazy. Surely they must have had like another take or something, because like, how did this get in?
No.
How did they do this and not
That really shocked me when that happened, because they kind of cut to this, I don't even know, like it wasn't even a full close-up, it was kind of like just another mid-shot, which is completely redundant, and then like it struggled to pull focus. And I know like we're all film students, so maybe obviously people probably don't care, but it's kind of shocking that this show looks so amateurish at times. And I think you said before another episode, Tom, about like the sound and stuff, and I watched it with earphones, and there was like some really like jarring audio cuts at times, and I just thought, how does this happen? I mean, honestly, like it kind of does feel like a bit of a dress rehearsal at times when you're kind of looking in the background and people are just so obviously having these like mimed conversations. And I know that a sitcom, especially a multicam, at times is gonna feel a little bit more theatrical in its presentation, but holy shit, it honestly feels like they had the idea for this reboot, they cobbled together the key players, and they put this together in about 2 months.
Do you think the multi-camera was a mistake? Do you think they could have gone just single camera, WandaVision style?
We talked about this a bit in the previous episode, I think, and like how they probably should have just bit the bullet and gone for a single cam show, because I think it would have been a lot more interesting. And
well, yeah, Merry Christmas, Drake and Josh did it. So
yeah,
that's true. Sweet Life on Deck movie did that too.
There is a precedent.
Not to forget. Yeah. And we know they can do it, you know, with the, as you mentioned, you know, that, and then there's got, I mean, and of course Miranda Cosgrove are part of the Drake and Josh Christmas.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lest we forget. So she's got experience.
I can't help.
School of Rock, exactly.
Yeah. No, honestly, we've said this before. Like Miranda Cosgrove in anything but iCarly is very good. It's just so strange. And again, because I honestly think that a lot of the time the dialogue doesn't help, because they've got these ridiculously long sentences that do not flow. They would not come out of a single human being's mouth, and they would leave you completely out of breath, and they must be just cutting away immediately after they finished, because they would just be gasping for air.
What was the budget of this show? Does anybody know?
I have no idea, but I honestly don't think. I reckon they blew the majority of the budget on getting the like Nathan Kress and Miranda Cosgrove and Jared Trainer back, because I mean Miranda and Nathan are adults now. They've already done like 6 seasons of this, so I bet they probably got quite a bit of money for this. Jerry as well. I think all the money went on that.
There's no reported budget, at least none that I can see. So I can't imagine that it would be that high, besides getting the talent back.
I mean, I imagine it all just went on completely onto fucking salary, didn't it? Wages and because it looks like it was made like the production costs look very, very cheap. I'm sorry to say it.
Well, it's like that montage of Freddy with the prostitute, like gets the green screen. It's
the constant redressing of like the same set, which is like, I think it's very lazy for one, especially the amount of money you can get nowadays to make these things. And also, I just think I feel like they went for it because they're like, oh, you know, we'll do all the classic iCarly sets, you know, the same apartment, we'll do all that kind of stuff. They haven't used the lift nearly as much as I thought they would. That lift was a big set piece. That was where all the reveals came through, because coming through the door, so boring. Coming up the lift,
hell yeah.
You don't know what's in there. More lift, please.
I like
in the next.
More lift. I think inside the lift. I think there should be like a bottle episode where they get stuck in the lift.
That would be.
That's just it. Yeah.
Insane.
But there have
multicam.
There have been like sitcoms where their budgets have been slashed. I mean, I keep referencing it, but Community, from season 1 to season 2, season 1 had a ton of exterior on location shooting, and then from like season 2 to 5, I think everything was just done inside, and there were green screens at times, but it still looked better than this does.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, and it's so much more creative. Like, you think about the paintball episodes, like the subsequent, even past season 1, they still look amazing.
Yeah, honestly, they're so creative on that show.
And it's just because the production crew just knew how to. If you like listen to them talk about like using like the budget to their advantage, like with the cast and stuff, like you can tell the production crew was really talented and was able to make it work with so little.
Yeah. But I mean, it's pointless me even making the comparison because it's just not fair to compare Community to iCarly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think it is because like an iCarly revival. When did iCarly end? Like the original show,
2012.
2012. So it's been nearly 10 years since the original aired. Children aren't going to be watching this show. So like I feel like you knew that going in. This isn't a Nickelodeon show anymore. This is a nostalgia show for 20-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
So I just think like there is the opportunity to be really brave and just kind of go fuck it. Like they're gonna watch it for the nostalgia. Let's just make this insane.
These executives, they're banking on getting our generation back through nostalgia, but I don't think they actually want to take the risk and elevate things to a more mature level. And I think like that's why they've put in Millicent, because they're I think they're like low key just hoping that kids still watch this, and they've put in this Millicent character as this kind of child surrogate. But at the same time, like she's younger than they were at the beginning of the original, so she's even like the wrong age demo to kind of target.
Yeah.
It would also make more sense, like if it's a step kid, to maybe even have a bit more tension, is to have like Freddie have the step kid who's like 15 or something. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Like maybe his ex-wife was this much older woman or something, who, by the way, I just want to give a little shout out to Spencer here, eyeing up that like 70-year-old babe at the wedding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, true.
What a man. What a man.
guy. So yeah, I just think it's confused, but I think they are basically still like that they're being lazy, they're cutting corners, because at the end of the day, someone at Nickelodeon or someone at Paramount still views this as a kid show. So.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is get our boy KJ. He's a great DOP.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He'll make sure that none of your shots go soft. He'll make sure that the budget's used to the fullest extent. Paramount, you want to give this guy a call? Get in touch. We'll give you the deets.
He would flip if he saw that, and you guys at iCarly are lucky that he didn't see that, because you would feel his Norwegian wrath.
He would melt those plastic sets with his eyes.
And he was in Tenet, just so you guys know.
And the trailer.
He's big shit.
He was everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, actually speaking,
he was in Tenet. What was he?
Yeah, he was like an extra. Like it's one of the Deary bits.
He's a man of many talents.
Very cool.
But I mean, actually talking of promotion and stuff, I also think that's where the majority of the money went for this, because the promotional, the whole thing's been pretty extravagant for this show. It's been everywhere, and the posters are looking pretty good.
Gotta love the poster.
Yeah.
Where's my Jerry Trainer body pillow? That would have been an excellent piece of merch, I think. You know what I mean? There's potential.
There
you know
is.
what? To continue this iCarly what if show that we're making.
Yeah.
I want replace Millicent with, and let's say I want to go with this Freddie older woman thing. I want his stepkid to be 20.
Yeah, that's even better. Yeah.
9 year age gap. Really uncomfortable.
But
he somehow has custody.
That you would think, well then why is this? He wouldn't need to be like under Freddie's guardianship or whatever, but maybe that's the whole thing. This 20-year-old won't leave Freddie alone, and everyone's like, who the fuck is this? And he's like, it's my
Keeps
son,
calling him dad.
I guess.
Well, guys, what if this is a crazy idea, but what if this supposed 20-year-old was actually just Gibby, and he fell in love with Gibby's mom.
Gibby's mom has got it going.
Yeah, I would like that,
and that would be an excuse to bring him back. I mean, I don't think he will, because he's got a new moniker, Noxic. He's a DJ now. He's doing his own thing. But if we could just get the Gibbster back for just a smidge of time.
I know he probably does not want to be Gibby ever again, due to the fact that he was just generally probably abused during that role.
Yeah.
I mean, cause he was just a punching bag.
Yeah, basically.
Take your shirt off, kid. Take your shirt off.
Yeah, and to be honest, yeah, you're right. Like, because they might have never said this, but like, what was the joke here? Oh, he's a little bit chubby. He's getting his shirt off. How funny. Like, that was the joke. And you're right.
Yeah,
like, that's not really the nicest looking back. So.
I'm sure he doesn't look back on it too fondly.
No, that's a good point.
But I would love to see him back. with a new character, perhaps. Maybe he's super suave now and just.
Maybe him and Carly could go out.
Oh, wouldn't that be
That'd be awesome.
Gibby the new himbo, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, big
just
himbo
like
energy.
ripped. That's what they spent all the budget on. They spent all the budget, and he's just gone through like Thor transformation. He's just fucking.
He looks like Kamal
huge.
Nanjiani for Eternal.
Yeah, he's just massive. He's just stacked.
Yeah.
He's just completely stacked.
I could see like maybe Gibby's a bit of competition as well for Carly. He's like this Joe Rogan Jr. podcaster guy.
Oh my
who's
god!
just doing all this,
God,
like,
that would be
interviews,
insane.
and she can't hack it. Maybe that could be a recurring bit that Carly just doesn't understand what podcasts are, and she refuses to believe that they're a popular thing. But
I think that's hilarious. The Gibby podcast, the Gibby show,
the Gibby
is
experience.
just the Gibby experience being the newest hottest thing, and Carly just can't like get with it, and she's just constantly trying to get on the show, and then when she does get on the show, she just completely fucks it up somehow.
Yeah.
And it's just like comes across as really out of touch.
It's just Gibby and his like the smaller Gibby brother that he has.
Gubby.
It's just those two on the show.
Gubby.
and Carly comes on the show and Gibby just shows a YouTube video. Is like, hey, what do you think about this? And Carly's just like, yeah. She doesn't know how to react. So, and maybe she gets cancelled. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, we've already kind of gone over that story.
I cancelled.
That was kind of
That'd
episode
be the name of the episode.
3, though, wasn't it? Like, but we could do it better.
I think do it
We could
again. Just do it again.
Yeah, people are getting cancelled
So
every fucking
potential.
day, like James Charles, like every month or so. I mean, and also, if
Exactly.
Gibby's the podcaster, you could have the show would then fulfill its obligatory Elon Musk cameo, have him as the guest, because we all know Gibby
yeah,
would be a huge.
smoking
He
a
would definitely
joint.
drive a Tesla. So
He would buy so much
Yeah.
Dogecoin.
Yeah.
It would be unreal. If that was a real physical currency, he'd be
he
drowning.
would invent his own. It would be Gibby coin, and it would just be this
Gibcoin. He'd be super into crypto. The Gibby Gubby Power Hour podcast just talks about crypto so much.
And that's the thing, like, I know that
Jesus
that's
Christ.
a kind of, modern buzzword type reference, but I think that, look, all I'm saying is, doing this podcast makes me really sad, because I actually think if they got us in as writers, we would fucking do so many good things.
Well, that is what we're here for.
That
They're
is
going to
what we're
hire
here.
us as writers.
Yeah.
We're spewing our excellent ideas. Gibby Gubby Power Hour. I would love to produce that podcast.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that we'd be making references to like crypto and things like that, but we'd actually be doing something with it. So yeah, I like that as well, Morgan. The maybe an animated kind of Gibby Gubby Power Hour, like the classic Scooby-Doo cartoons.
Yeah.
I would love the iCarly crypto episode where iCarly tries to make like iCarly coin or iCoin or something like that.
iCoin currency. Haha.
But then she gets wrapped into like this whole the coin starts making loads of money, and then like she keeps promoting this coin, and then it crashes and people start hating her for the crypto crashing.
Yeah.
Freddie doesn't even know it's her currency, even though it has her name on it, and he's like invested everything he has in it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Him and Millicent have to live on the street for like, and his mum as well.
I think why doesn't Freddie make like a Millicent like a TikTok channel, and she just like comes a super big like
Don't.
TikToker
Morgan,
or
what did you think of Millicent's song in episode? Was it 3?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think she gave it a good go.
That's very nice.
And
That's
yeah,
very
she
kind.
should be applauded for that.
That's a lot nicer.
She's just having a go at it, yeah.
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 Well, that'd be an interesting episode, though, wouldn't it? Maybe just this one-off where it because that's the thing. The show's set in Seattle, yet they've clearly never shot there, and I believe Frasier, which was famously set in Seattle, they only ever did one episode actually shot there, and they went on location and made this big thing about it. They could do that with iCarly, but instead it's Freddie and Millicent bumming it on the streets, and you'd have this really gritty cinematography. Maybe get in the Safdie brothers cinematographer and just make this really rough.
Oh, yeah.
Taxi driver.
Yeah.
Esque.
Exactly. Freddie is the is the De Niro.
Oh my god. Look, boys, I think they should bring us back for the Big Time Rush reboot, and we just make it super gritty, super good.
Maybe you
Just-
could. I
just
mean,
great.
that's the unfortunate thing.
I-
Like, you have a fondness for like that, and a few others where it's like iCarly was like one of the only few that I really kind of gelled with. So I feel like they've done it without me, and my chance is just gone.
See, I think maybe me and Tom were the last true Nickelodeon Golden Age generation kids.
Maybe.
I don't know,
The
Tom.
last bastion. The last on the front lines. Yeah.
Yeah, the last dominoes to fall.
Yeah.
Because we're big Good Luck Charlie fans. I know that.
God.
Oh yeah, you're
Freaking
big on that show. Richard
I lo-
Drew, he's a big fan of that too.
Good Luck Charlie was a gem.
Oh, I'm sorry,
and
but
once
It
again,
really was.
Tom, if your dad likes that, that's just I've lost respect.
Revan, let me just run this past you, okay? And for those at home listening, when I say these words, if anyone out there is a true fan of 2000s Disney, when I could say me and Tom could write an absolutely banging Lemonade Mouth 2, it would just be it would be my magnum opus. It would be incredible.
Honestly, it would. But I mean, we'd have to somehow write out Adam Hicks.
No.
because of-
No.
You want to bring
you
him
stand
back?
by your
Yeah,
guy?
After what he did?
Yeah, we'd bring him back, but he would just be Adam Hicks. He would have done those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
That's a bold
he's
move.
kind of like the
Yeah.
Mel Gibson of the Disney Channel. Like, he's done some shit,
Yeah.
but they keep giving him another go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm willing to help rehabilitate Adam Hicks for Lemonade.
Adam, if there's anything
Okay.
we can do for you, just send us a Gmail.
You know,
No,
we'll
we-
alleviate all your second-degree robbery charges. It's fine. We'll get that
No one
sorted.
got hurt.
It's all good.
We'll talk
Yeah.
to the Disney Channel. It's fine. They have a lot of sway nowadays, more so than they had
But
before.
I just can't help but wonder if like Disney Channel's gonna die soon, because like now I know Disney Plus is definitely not the Disney Channel, but they have absorbed a lot of their content, and I suppose like the kids shows they're making are a lot higher quality. Like, I don't watch it, but I'm sure that High School Musical, the series, is a lot higher budget than any other show that you'd see on the Disney Channel. But like, if kids have that available to them, does that not negate the need of the lower budget Disney stuff? Even though I know a lot of that stuff was super great and enduring when we were kids, and all those cartoons, like, to be honest, like the Disney cartoons were fantastic. But yeah, I just can't see it really surviving.
Yeah, and like I was thinking about this the other day. Like, part of like having a channel, not even just the programming, like the whole experience of like the ads and the bumpers and beneath programming, like that whole thing is such a like nostalgic thing for me. Especially like you look at like the Cartoon Network bumpers that they would do, and they were like crossover like characters. Like they'd have that one
yeah.
with Johnny
They
Bravo
were great.
and Samurai Jack in the laundry room, and it's just like you just don't have that anymore with like a streaming service, because you can just watch whatever you want. And you know, that's obviously a lot more convenient for people, and you do get, in some respects, better content from that. But when you do have like a curated bit of programming, you are forced to kind of like have to watch other shows, and because of that, sometimes you'll discover shows that you might not have thought to check out, but like you've just kind of been like shown it, and it becomes like a show that you really really enjoy otherwise. So
Teen Beach
yeah, just the
Movie.
whole experience of channel.
You've
Teen Beach
made
Movie.
me,
Teen Beach
you've
Movie.
made me emotional, Tom. That I honestly, that's true. They are losing out on this beautiful experience of these fun little crossover clips, and like I mean, it was before our time, but the fact that it exists is amazing. Was that Scooby-Doo Blair Witch Project thing that they did?
Yeah, watching that again, like it's just incredible.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing is amazing.
But
I haven't actually seen it. I've not seen
But
it.
you're right, like,
It's really
we
good.
as kids, we had to, maybe there was like a show on and we had to wait, and you know, we'd have to sit through something else, but yeah, you'd find and discover other things, and it's all lost now.
The crossovers are a lost gem, I think.
Yeah.
Lost gem. Like, what was and I love the best thing about the crossovers was the title mashups.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The Sweet Life of Hannah Montana in the Band, or something like that.
I'm in the band, oh my god.
I loved that.
Oh,
That was good, honestly.
That's another show that I could fucking bash out a 10 out of 10 sequel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, like I remember that show, but I literally don't remember anything about it. And like anyone, I'm looking at the pictures now of the cast. I'm like, holy
I just
shit,
remember the
don't-
drummer. He was like, he hated country music. He was hilarious.
I related to
This
that.
is so weird.
Dude, If anybody can find me an Iron Weasel t-shirt.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh god, that's what it's called.
Also,
yeah.
Iron Weasel.
I always think this every time I watch Spider-Man 3, like the lead singer in the show is in Spider-Man 3. He plays the photographer that's taking pictures of Gwen Stacy. He's like, "Oh yeah, Gwen, work it, baby, yeah." And then like Sandman fucking plows through the wall.
He's had a star-studded career.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Also, the drummer, the guy that you're thinking of, voiced the dog from Dog with a Blog. If you ever watched that.
Never watched
Oh
that.
my fucking god.
Well, there you go, little tidbit for those of you at home.
Well, we could also bang out a good script for that, I'm sure.
I
mean,
Yeah,
probably
he just ended
probably
up
not
on,
as deserving, but
he'd end up on
yeah.
4chan.
I'll tell you what I actually thought was quite good, and it was kind of just towards the end of me watching Disney, and that was like Fish Hooks. That was really good.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
Justin Roiland.
Well, there you go.
yeah, and Kyle Massey as well.
Fuck.
Yeah, that had a fucking stellar team behind that. I don't know if Justin Roiland he did the voice of Oscar. I know. I don't know how much writing he did.
I
For it.
had no idea. God, we're losing the steam with the iCarly, you know. Oh, God.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
no.
going off on a
If they
tangent.
won't let
like
us write
10
it, we
to
won't
15
promote
minutes.
it. That's the deal.
No.
Guys,
Yeah.
I've got a couple Benson moments I'd like to share. Benson
moment.
Number one Benson moment, both from episode 5. I'll go with the lesser Benson moment at first, and that was Freddy's dance face. Quite amusing.
Very cool.
But the crown jewel of all Benson moments was when Freddie Benson had the gall to ask the groom's mother for an ice cream sandwich whilst drinking a glass of wine. I mean,
Wow.
That's pretty.
if that's not a Benson moment, I don't know what is. Pairing those two things with each other, this guy he doesn't care about society's rules.
He doesn't. I mean, are we expecting a Joker turn for Benson? Maybe. I mean, he's getting a bit big for his britches, I think.
Well, honestly, Benson has more. It makes more sense for him to turn like Arthur Fleck did. I think that his situation is honestly less contrived than Arthur's was, so I could see it.
He just goes home to his mum and hops into his fridge and just stays there, so he doesn't get berated by Millicent and his mum.
What do you guys think of the CGI?
That was CGI.
Yeah, when
For which
Carly's
bit?
dress like transforms into a wedding.
Oh,
Oh my god.
it was. It could have been worse, I think, but also didn't look great.
No.
So,
Also, why did it have to be CGI? They could have just done some sort of clever costume change.
Okay, in terms of the conclusion of this episode, we've gotten off to a massive tangent earlier, but yeah, the conclusion where Carly is like shouting till she's blue in the face that she's being set up, that she clearly doesn't want to marry Neville and that she's on his plan, and everyone else is just sat there like chilling. Like, did he drug them? Like, Spencer doesn't give a fuck. It's so contrived and silly, and then you have this really long conversation between Carly and Neville. No one says a thing, and again, I just think unless you're younger than 11, this is insulting.
in my notes, I just wrote Carly gets gaslit.
Yes, exactly.
I get gaslit. That's the name of the episode.
How have they not even brought that up? Like that term. That's something you'd expect them to say constantly.
I can't wait for Ben Shapiro's cameo.
Carly, I'm such a big fan. It's so great that you're not part of the liberal Hollywood elite cuck agenda.
Oh my god.
Carly loves troll.
Carly
What
goes-
about a spot from Abby Shapiro? Anyone?
Or Stephen
takers?
Crowder, maybe.
Oh no.
Carly has to go debate Ben Shapiro
Yeah,
out of college.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gibby shoots him in the head.
Gibby destroys him with his well-constructed argument.
Yeah, because I think Gibby,
Yeah.
I compared him to a bit of a Joe Rogan. He's maybe a bit more on the bro spectrum, but he's not a complete lost cause like Crowder.
no, definitely not.
Continuously smoking cigars.
Yeah, for sure.
Really into MMA.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
Like crazy good. There is a second podcast within this podcast where we talk about
Oh yeah.
everything else and happening. It's like the hidden podcast. You have to go find it. Go looking.
Patreon,
everyone. Go find
guys.
that Patreon that doesn't exist.
Yet.
Also,
But it might.
this
but it might.
Gmail that you keep referencing, does that exist?
We have a Gmail, tomandrevan@gmail.com.
Yeah, you can find it on the YouTube channel. We don't really promote it that much, but you can find it if you want to.
You say Gmailers, but then there's like a treasure map to find the Gmail.
It's true.
You have to scour through. I wanted to send an email, you see.
But I don't actually check my own personal Gmail too much. You know, well, I actually got like an email demanding a reference for Gabby earlier. I don't know if we'll keep this in or not, but I hadn't even seen the first email, and they literally they're like, this is the last step before we can move forward with him getting this role. And I was like, fuck, like Gabby getting this job is laying entirely on my shoulders.
Did he mention that to you?
He did like well, maybe like a few weeks ago. I didn't even see the first email, and then like I saw that, I was like, fuck.
Shit. Gotta do it.
Did you get it done?
I did, yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing. It was one of those like application things where it just had like a tiny box, so I wrote a little bit, but I was effusive in my praise for him, deservedly so. But you know, it was quite amusing. I actually had to put like your job status, like what is your occupation. I had no fucking idea what to put, and I didn't want to put unemployed because you don't really want to have like your referee is unemployed. So I actually put podcaster.
Professional
podcaster. But look, I mean,
don't believe me? Gmail me.
That's promotion for this show because they'll be like, podcaster, okay, let's see what this guy does, and then they'll see like the one episode of this podcast, and then they'll listen to it.
They'll be like, he wasn't lying.
He wasn't like, God damn it, this is good.
And then she'll share it with all her friends, and then they'll listen to it, and just a complete domino effect until the whole world is listening to Let's Spaghetti talk about it.
Yeah.
I wonder if Spaghetti Tacos are gonna make an appearance.
Have they mentioned it? I feel like
Speculate.
I think that they did mention it. Yeah, they haven't eaten it.
No. Sim chowder.
Do you think the spaghetti's cold or warm in the tacos?
It's got to be pretty cold. No, that would be disgusting. What am I saying?
That'd be fucking.
It's got to be hot.
Hot spaghetti, cold tacos. So the crunch. You know the crunch on spaghetti?
Cold. I mean, it's going to be room temperature. If it's cold, it'd be stale. That's nasty.
Well, because you can get soft tacos, can you not?
Oh yeah, I mean it's just a wrap, isn't it? It's just a tortilla wrap. Which, to be honest, I mean if you're smart, you're gonna go with that, right? Because I mean, who wants that crumbling in their hands? They're getting beef everywhere.
Well, then I'd go burrito, honestly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. That's the smart
for ultimate safety, I'd go burrito.
Yeah.
That might be controversial to say on the Spaghetti Taco podcast.
Well, it's like that great old El Paso advert where it's like these two warring villages and they're like hard and soft, and then this like little girl, she's just like, why can't we have both? And then they all like cheer and it's beautiful. And
oh, great. I think I saw an Avatar episode that was just that story.
Exact premise.
Pretty sure, anyway.
Okay, last note I have, and it kind of goes back to us talking about how amateur the production looks, and also, yeah, it's another instance of the ending being so abrupt. And I didn't think the episode 4 ending was that abrupt, despite me not understanding what that scene was at all. You know, where like Harper and Carly looking at that cameo thing on their phone, I don't know. This one, however, I swear, and you can watch this back, the episode literally ends before Harper's fully finished her sentence. Like,
really?
She says the last word of the sentence, but I swear, like, it's just a few seconds shaved off, and it's so... I couldn't believe it.
Oh my god. I think I clicked off of the episode before I got to that point, to be honest, but... That's, it just seems like this was kind of like the first pass of, like, the edit, and then they just kind of, like, rolled with it. Because if that's the case, that's pretty, like... You'll be able, if you like assessing it and approving it properly, like you'll pick up on those things, and like before it gets to the final like picture lock. But yeah, the fact that got left in, that's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, I guess they can't afford they can't afford to properly pay that editing team because Jerry Trainor's trailer's just so big. It's got like a pool and a jacuzzi, and got to make the talent happy.
I think.
Yeah.
You guys for the Freddie Benson moment.
Yeah.
I think maybe when available, maybe a Jerry Trainer or Nathan Kress if he has it, cameo, little soundbite.
Yeah, it would be
because Jerry Trainer I know is on Cameo. I don't know if you can buy it at the moment, but he is on Cameo.
Okay. Something to consider.
Yeah.
Maybe a loving fan could purchase a Cameo for us.
I love it.
Just throwing it out there.
Or maybe,
We're not gonna
maybe
foot the bill.
Jerry, if you're out there, if in the void listening,
Jerry,
maybe you can
we
send
appreciate
a
your
little
work,
sound
but
bite.
not enough to pay for it. Please. Please.
Please,
work with
please,
us.
Jerry, come find the Gmail and.
Now,
write
again,
in.
I don't really want to disparage Jerry because I honestly think like he is this just great talent that has been completely untapped, and I think Nathan Kress has got chops as well. I'm gonna say it, and Jeanette McCurdy certainly did.
Yeah.
I think she could. I know like it's her choice, but I think she could have been a proper sitcom star. But didn't they used to say weak sauce or something? They used to say that in the show.
As a iCarly expert, I'm going to say
Maybe? Okay, alright. The buffs weighed in.
Yeah.
Should we cast our minds to next week, and do we know... Oh, episode 6 is literally just called I'm Cursed.
Yeah, I think it's
And that
gonna
looks
be
terrible
a-
with the formatting.
I mean, we haven't mentioned that this is the halfway point of the series.
That's
as well.
true. I mean, this is a bit of a mid-season...
That's a mid-season special.
Checking in with you guys. How you feeling?
Slightly disappointed, but not completely disappointed.
This episode kind of turned it around a bit for me. I think there is still this chance that they could maybe bring it back around and like maybe stick the landing, but it's just going by their track record because I just found the first 4 pretty boring.
Yeah, they are
overall, and I just need something to breathe some life into the show, like some surprise. I just don't know what they could do to really,
They need to up the ante in regards to Carly's character and the kind of situations that she's finding herself in, because that they are obviously like she's always the A plot. They dedicate the majority of the episode to her, and it's so boring and so mundane. Again, just make her go full on baddie, make her do some silly things, and again, she does have she clearly is a flawed character, but just go all in and people have some fun.
You guys should take Q&As on the Gmail.
Do you think
People have questions?
Yeah,
I feel like your credentials might be questioned, but
well,
I think that's
I am a
probably
professional
good.
podcaster, so
Yeah, you did put that, so that is technically your profession.
Yeah.
You have to now declare that for tax reasons.
So please legitimize us and send in some questions.
Yeah, send some questions. Say the Gmail again.
The Gmail's tomandrevan@gmail.com. You can also use the hashtag spaghetti taco or hashtag let's spaghetti taco about it. Just shoot us a question, shoot us a query, shoot us a thought about any of the episodes so far, particularly 4 and 5, or 6, the upcoming 6 for the next episode, so we can get some opinions for that too. We'd love to hear.
Get on the socials.
Yeah.
Get on
let
it.
us know if we're being too harsh, if we need to calm down, and we'll try, but it's not gonna work.
You guys can try. This is my cameo appearance. You paid for my cameo. Yeah.
This is the longest cameo ever.
This is the longest cameo. Yeah, I'm probably not even making a profit here.
You charge by the second.
I'm like
fucked.
a lawyer, like a really. I'm Gil. No, not Gil. What's the guy from The Simpsons?
Gil, yeah. Oh no,
No, Gil's not a
Gil's
lawyer.
the really depressed car salesman or whatever, isn't he?
I tell you what, after episode 4, I was feeling a bit like Gil.
Oh, Gil.
Tell you bloody what, mate.
What is the fucking lawyer called?
The lawyer?
The shit lawyer. Lionel Hutz.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, Lionel.
Oh, he's not a Simpsons standout character to me.
Can we maybe have a little chat about cameos? Do you think there'll be more cameos?
We did touch upon that in a previous episode, but who would you like to see?
Gosh, you know what? I'm ahead of the curve and behind the curve at the same time.
In your defense, you did listen to the only episode available, so
I'm clued up on the current live content.
in all the
that's
lore,
true.
but
the lore, the deep lore.
So much more. There's been double the lore since you last spoke.
I would love to see someone from a different Nickelodeon show.
Yes, that'd be fun.
Ned from Ned's Declassified School
I
Survival
was
Guide.
just gonna say, if they got Ned Bigby on, that would be incredible, and I think he'd do it too.
Yeah,
it would be weird, but I think
that really would be mind blowing because it's not technically, well, it's not the Schneiderverse. It's a universe that really deserved to grow and develop because it was, quite frankly, maybe superior. But yeah, have Ned Bigbeat. Maybe he could be the man for Carly. You know.
Oh, that is an idea.
Yeah. And do you not think
get that in our season 2 prospectus?
Yeah, maybe Ned's this like
thesis.
god who's just constantly breaking the fourth wall, and she's like, "Where the fuck is your camera, like, to do that?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't need cameras." He's just this.
He's the Deadpool of the iCarly.
Yeah, exactly. Get Cookie and Mose too.
That's what, like, I think Cookie would actually be a good accompaniment with Freddy. They would have a good dynamic, and you know, even bringing Gordy, he could do some stuff with Spencer.
Gordy.
Yeah,
I think that would be a
yeah.
good. That would be a great thing too.
Yeah, I like. Well, look,
Fantastic.
as we've said before, we probably should, if there was a Ned's Declassified revival happening at the same time, it's quite apparent who we'd have picked. But we have to deal with the cards we're dealt with.
Josh Peck. Maybe Josh comes.
Yeah,
Because we know that Drake and Josh and iCarly are within the same universe as well.
Yeah. It'd be
So-
fun to
Yeah,
see
we do.
Megan, Miranda Cosgrove play two parts, but I think we did talk about that last episode. But yeah.
Yeah.
Christ. I feel like I missed the episode by a week. I should have been on last week.
Well,
Coming on with all
You
the
missed
points.
your chance, buddy. You missed your chance.
I'm trying to come up with points in this list. Yeah, well, we talked about that.
yeah,
last
sorry,
week,
dude,
so
but
Yeah,
like,
so-
what are you
Fucking
contributing
times.
here?
you need to write me. I need like a transcript of the latest episode so I can not repeat any
Yeah, we
points.
fucked you over, man. I'm sorry.
I know you brought me out. You flew me out. You flew me out, and I'm
to a live
here.
studio audience.
I brought my live studio audience with me.
Yeah.
I paid for all their tickets.
They're
I
very
flew them
polite.
out. I'm not making a profit. Yeah, they're all very quiet. They're all mute. That's why they can't hear it.
Okay. They're just watching.
Yeah.
They just carry my massive amount of luggage. They're actually just
You got a lot.
my lackeys,
Yeah.
but I call them a
All
live
your
studio
weights.
audience.
Take some.
Yeah, all my weights, yeah, and just my like huge reams of because I can't read all
iCarly
the
lore.
wiki pages. I have to have them printed off. So I have every page of the iCarly wiki
The
printed.
Encyclopedia of iCarly. What a
Yeah,
tome that would be.
the iEncyclopedia.
Shall we call it there, guys? This has been a very
Yeah.
informative and enjoyable chat with our guest Morgan Brown, who is quite frankly welcome back whenever he wants.
Well, okay.
You heard it there first, guys.
You heard it there
Yeah.
first. I'll come back if you get one question that
Yeah,
addresses me.
yeah. We'll get one question, and
yeah.
it'll be for you.
And it'll be from me.
okay.
That's how you end up coming back every single episode.
Yeah,
That's
just
great.
come back every single episode with just
Special guest Morgan Brown. He's
He's
back.
back.
He just
Can I
just
just-
invited
Was
himself in like an iCarly
Yeah.
series
Bit of a
regular.
Nora
It's crazy.
Dershowitz or whatever.
I'm staying in the
Oh.
Holiday Inn next to the studio, and I'm just walking in every day. Oh, are the guys here? Are they here? No? Okay, I'll come back tomorrow.
And with that, we say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Chatting shit about iCarly. You got Spencer popping up a dead man. You got Spencer guzzling a beer can. Now Freddy's all for prostitution. He's chatting shit, I'm chatting shit. We're chatting shit about iCarly. Ali Shay's repping with 8 tan. Harper can't talk to the fashion man. What they're doing with Millicent, what's the plan? Spaghetti, taco, give 'em back to all the fans. Chatting shit about iCarly. You got Spencer popping up a dead man. You got Spencer guzzling a beer can. Now Freddy's all for prostitution. He's chatting shit, I'm chatting shit. We're chatting shit.